Dandavat Pranam Vaishnavas. Welcome to Indian Internet.
Wait a few minutes.
Please forgive me.
It's not your fault. Just wait a couple minutes till they can get back.
Please forgive me for not being aware. Let's see. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. So, please forgive me for that. I am not in control, and I'm realizing this more and more every single day, thanks to the local internet. So, please tell me where you last heard, because I didn't notice when it went offline. I think I was speaking about that all of the Aishvarya, all of the opulence, the grandeur of Godhead is completely submerged like a particle of dust in the ocean of transcendental sweet nectar of Braj. So Mother Yashoda splashed cold water into the pot of boiling milk. I believe you heard that. And splashed...
His own majesty.
Okay. So she splashed cold water into the pot of boiling milk as if to pacify it. Why? Because that milk was endeavoring to give up its life, feeling I will never be able to be used in the service of Krishna. So Mother Yashoda said, don't worry, I'm going to use you in Krishna's service right now. Don't give up your life like this. So I was speaking about what is the root qualification for bhakti. Krishna bhakti rasabhavitamati kriyatam yadi kutopi labdyate tatra lolyam apimulyam ekalam janma koti shukritayana labdyate. Millions of lifetimes of doing good things in this world, this cannot give you bhakti. Including sharing information about all of the happenings of this material world. That is not a qualification for attaining Krishna Bhakti Rasa. It's a distraction from Krishna Bhakti Rasa. What is the root qualification for attainment of loving, transcendental loving service to Krishna? The intense, greedy desire to have it that is so strong that by any means, beg, borrow, steal, purchase, one must attain it. And one will not be able to rest until they attain it. That is the symptom of genuine transcendental greed for this Krishna Bhakti Ras. That no matter what, I will not give up, do or die. I must attain that goal. I must attain my goal. I will never, ever give up. And what is the proof of that kind of greed? Taking anything, any opportunity from any situation that can somehow increase my devotion, that can increase that calling, that can increase my opportunity for the attainment of that divine loving service to Krishna. From anywhere. That's why Srila Prabhupada writes, if one can purchase it anywhere, they must purchase it without delay. Anywhere. Where can I get that? So this is the symptom of true greed. And if we want to be recognized by Krishna or by his devotee, then if we somehow come to that point of really intensely needing it, this milk was on the edge of giving up its life. And that's when Mother Yashoda put Krishna down and ran to save this milk, who is conscious, who is only thinking, how can I serve Krishna without being able to serve Krishna? Karunana hoile kandiya kandiya, prananara kiboar. I will not be able to maintain my life. I will give it up immediately. When one manifests this kind of desperation, surely Krishna will notice. Shunya amara duk. Sorry. I was remembering the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati. For one who takes to these 6 symptoms, these 6 principles of Sharanagati, anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya vajanam, rakshishyati iti vishvaso, goptritve varnam tata atmanikshepa karpanye, shadvidha Sharanagati. It means accepting what is favorable for attainment of Krishna bhakti, avoiding everything that is unfavorable for that, accepting that Krishna is my protector, my only maintainer, completely surrendering myself and with deep humility. Tahara prarthana shune Shri Nanda Kumar. If they offer prayers, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna himself, will hear those prayers. Tahara prarthana shune. That prayer, shune means to hear. Shri Nanda Kumar, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna in Vrindavan, will hear that prayer. And how will he reciprocate? His heart will melt. His compassion, his mercy will condense and take a form and will stand in front of us in the form of his mercy, Krishna Kripa Shri Murti, that is Shri Guru. Everything that Krishna wants to express to us, he will express through the mouth of Shri Guru. And everything that we want to express to Krishna, we will also express through our service, our dedication to Shri Guru. Guru is the transparent by a medium. Transparent means nothing for himself, only transmitting our love and affection to Krishna and Krishna's love and affection to us. That is the function of Guru, taking one from darkness to the light, bringing one to truth. So, it is essential if we want really to develop bhakti. Srila Prabhupada said, our Gurudeva said, all of our acharyas have said, don't try to see Krishna, but you should try to be in such a way, and that means this kind of mood, this kind of desperate mood that I will never give up. Even if my life has to finish, I will still never give up. Like Haridas Thakur said to the Qazi or the Nawab, even if you cut my body into thousands of pieces, still I can never give up chanting the holy names of the Lord. He can't. This kind of mood of dedication, how powerful was it? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his association. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him Namacharya. At the end of his presence in this world, Haridas Thakur was able to keep the feet of Sachinandan Gaurahari Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his own heart. Look into the eyes of Mahaprabhu and chant Jai Sachinandan Gaurahari, Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan. And then he was able to depart like that, looking into the eyes of Mahaprabhu and holding his lotus feet on his heart. And what was Mahaprabhu's reciprocation when Haridas Thakur left? He picked up his body and was weeping and dancing at the same time, showering tears of separation from this near and dear devotee. And he said, this place is a holy tirtha. So that kind of mood, never giving up under any circumstance, this is so attractive to Krishna, so attractive to Mahaprabhu, that they will be helplessly attracted. We should become in such a way that they will want to see us. And really this is called darshan. I cannot see, but they are giving their darshan. It means they're looking at us. That's why we offer pranam the way we do when we come in front of Thakurji. In some places you see people are rolling around the altar, or they come and they stand in front and they spin in circles. Means, please see me, please give me your mercy. So, Mother Yashoda, she was trying to pacify this milk, and we already told that everything in Vrindavan is conscious. Chidanandam Jyoti paramapi taraspat yamapicha. Everything is conscious and self-luminous because it is all made of chit shakti. It is all transcendental, conscious, and full of bhav, love and affection for Krishna. Even the milk, even the particles of dust, the trees, the animals, the insects, everything, the flowers, everything, Jamuna Devi, Giriraj Maharaj, every personality, the air itself, everything is in love with Krishna. So Mother Yashoda put Krishna down and ran to save the milk because that devotee was so desperate that he attracted her attention. And really for us, if we're like this, you will see, if you are absolutely desperate, Krishna will send anyone into your life to help you, to bring you to him. If you're comfortable trying to enjoy this world, okay, do what you want to do. But if someone becomes attracted toward Krishna, if we take even one step toward him, he takes hundreds toward us. Gurudev said that Krishna is weeping millions of times more for us than we are weeping for him. Because we only remember this life, but he remembers millions of lifetimes. He knows us, the soul, the Atma, and he's weeping for us, but he's not forcing us. He won't force us, because how can you force love? Then it's not really love. He wants us to offer that from our own accord, which is our natural, spontaneous nature of the soul. He's waiting for us. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives the example of two birds sitting in a tree. So I'm going to sing that song for you, although it's quite embarrassing, but it's from my very young days. I think I started learning it when I was about 3. But it's the song, so please bear with me. Oops, sorry. Two little birds sitting in a tree. One is Krishna, one is me. Sudevi's laughing. I am always in distress, trying to find happiness. He is waiting day by day for me to turn and look his way. That was our nursery song, one of them. So Krishna is comparing us. Himself is also, he's there, and we're there as two birds sitting in this tree. And he's just waiting for us every day, always waiting for us. And we're just busy enjoying the fruits of this material world. But he's still waiting for us because he knows that's not really our nature. Not really. Really inside, we're meant to love and serve him. And so he knows, and he's waiting for us very patiently, just for us to turn and look toward him. Today, one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Swarup Hebel, he posted an interesting quote from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was talking about how when he was on the airplane going from Philadelphia to somewhere else, and the pilots were asking Prabhupada questions. And they're like, so you believe in God? That God is the creator of everything? And Prabhupada was like, well, yes, of course. God is the creator of everything. Nothing happens without his sanction. And you believe he's all good? And Prabhupada said, yes, of course he's all good. Everything he does is good. And they're like, well, then how do you explain evil? If that's part of God's creation, how do you explain evil? And so Srila Prabhupada was explaining to the devotees what he was telling to the pilots. And he was saying, because this is a basic question that atheists like to ask to theists. Those who don't believe in God like to try to get you with that question. And so Prabhupada answered that Krishna, he is not subjected to that. That he is all good. And he gave the example of the sun planet. The sun from every side is only bright, is only shining, does not experience any of this evil. So Prabhupada was explaining, what is that evil? He said, if we are facing the sun, do we experience evil? If we are facing God, we don't. But if we turn our back to God, then what we see is the shadow, the dark side. We see that. So that is the evil that we experience, and that is the result of our own bahirmukh. Turning away from Krishna, then we will see all darkness. But if we turn toward Krishna, Krishna Surya Samamaya Andakar. Krishna is like the sun, and Maya is like darkness or ignorance. If we turn toward the sun, then we won't even know that darkness is there. Wherever there is light, then darkness disappears. So in this connection, I was just sharing about these two birds sitting in this tree, that Krishna's waiting for us just to turn and look toward him. How much love does he have for us? How much patience does he have? How much eagerness does he have? That he's waiting there forever. He's always traveling with us. The jiva is moving from body to body to body to body since forever. And Paramatma, Krishna, is moving along with us, directing us according to our desires. I direct the wanderings of all living entities. But if someone wants to come to me, then dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite, I will give them that understanding by which they can attain to me. This is how desperate Krishna is for us, but he will not force it, because you cannot force love. So how can we serve Krishna? By turning away from darkness and toward him, and by offering that thing. Our independence. Independence means my right to choose you or not. I'm going to choose you, and I'm not going to look back. Well, this is pleasing to Krishna. And that thing, that one thing that we have, which he is not forcing, and that is our particular flavor of love and affection. That is our intrinsic particular flavor that no one else has. It's ours. And he's greedy to taste that. And when we offer that to him, that is how we can serve him. And that's how we can please him. Devaki, you knew that nursery rhyme, didn't you? From way back when? There's a page from all of these nursery songs. There's a devotee nursery song. I'll try to find it and I'll post it on the end of this if you're interested. Okay. So in the other room, however, baby Krishna was in a fit of rage. He picked up a stone pestle lying nearby. Pestle, for grinding spices. They use stone with a stone container and they grind like this. He picked up a stone pestle which was lying nearby and hit the base of the earthen pot of yogurt that his mother was churning and made a hole in it. So his mother was in the other room pacifying the milk, and Krishna took this and hit the base of that pot. Now, if he hit the top of the pot, it might have been one way, but he hit the base. So what happens with the pressure of the yogurt on top when you make a hole in the bottom? It was squirting out everywhere. A thick stream of yogurt began flowing all over the floor as Krishna watched with fascination. He was quite excited to see it squirting out like that. Although he was captivated by the sight of the stream of yogurt spilling onto the ground, it made him remember his mother. Consequently, he fearfully ran into a nearby room that had a doorway leading outside. Hanging from the ceiling was a pot of butter that enticed his mind. So Krishna's mind is chanchal, especially in Vrindavan. It's not very steady. Little Krishna is thinking about one thing, and then a pot of butter is there, and he forgets what he's doing there and goes for the butter. So he was planning on running out, but he saw the butter, forgot his other plan, because the butter in Vrindavan is not ordinary substance. Sudevi.
Yes, you can tell it.
No, can you please tell what Gurudev said about the butter of Vrindavan? Anjali saying he better run. Srila Gurudev said that the butter of Vrindavan is the essence of the love of the gopis, especially the parental gopis, Vatsalya gopis for Krishna. As they're churning that butter, all of their moods of love and affection for him are going into that. It is like the essence of their love. So Krishna cannot help himself. He is completely drawn toward that. That's why he's going from house to house to house stealing butter. Because as they're churning the butter, they're only remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna and thinking, oh, Krishna will come and take this butter today. And with all of their love and all of their intent, they're making this butter and only thinking of his sweet pastimes, his beautiful form, his qualities, and singing his sweet names. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So Krishna is not just stealing butter. It is their hearts which are churning with love and affection and taking form as that butter. And because of this, Krishna becomes helpless in the vicinity of butter and must steal it. He can't help himself. It inspires a special greed in him. This is their own heart's love offering to him, and he can't help himself but to steal it. So even if he's got his own intention and attention, this time to run outside to escape the possibility of his mother catching him for being a naughty little boy, suddenly, butter! And he forgets everything else. And then he went for the butter, which was hanging from the rafters in the storeroom. Hanging from the ceiling was a pot of butter that enticed his mind. He climbed on top of an overturned grinding mortar and started eating the butter out of the pot. You know what a grinding mortar is? It's kind of a big container for grinding grain or spices or anything, and they would pound it with long poles. So there's a grinding mortar, and then there's also a small mortar and pestle. So you can do some small spices, and there's also big grinding mortar as well. He started eating the butter out of the pot. So he positioned that grinding mortar in such a way that he could get on top, and then he could reach that pot of butter. And at the same time, he was feeding it, some of it, to the crows and monkeys who had come. Does anyone remember why he was feeding the monkeys and the crows?
Because he did it in Ram, he couldn't pay them back in Ram.
Because in Ram Lila, the monkeys and crows were helping him and assisting him so much in service to help him retrieve Sita from the place where she was kept after she was kidnapped by the evil 10-headed demon king Ravana. So Ram felt so much indebted to them but was not able to pay them back at that time. So when he came as Krishna, part of what he was doing, besides tasting the hearts of the Braja Gopis in the form of their butter, was endeavoring to pay back the monkeys and the crows by feeding them butter as well. When Mother Yashoda returned to the pot of yogurt to continue her churning, she saw the stream of yogurt flowing from the broken pot. She thought, this is surely the work of my clever son. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in his commentary on Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10.9.7, Krishna was highly skillful in breaking the earthen pot, for he did not make a sound, nor did his ornaments. Ooh, this is a sign of someone very naughty. He didn't make a sound while breaking it, and neither did his ornaments while he ran out. So he knew how to be very sneaky, very quiet. He did it with intent. Nor did he make any sound in the other room as he climbed on top of the grinding mortar to take butter. Indeed, this could only have been the accomplishment of her intelligent son. Be careful for those really, really smart, intelligent little ones. They're the most dangerous, and they're the most charming as well. Yes. By the tiny footprints of yogurt on the floor. So Mother Yashoda saw something. Little footprints. He ran through the yogurt and footprints led right to where he was. Remember, that pot was no ordinary pot. Srila Bhakti Kamal Govinda Mahārāja told us that that pot was heirloom. It was 5th generation of mother-in-law to daughter-in-law, mother-in-law to daughter-in-law, and came to Mother Yashoda. And she was using that pot because it was well known for making the best quality butter. And on that day, which was Diwali day, the day Deepavali, that day that she was churning that yogurt to make butter, that day, I don't know why I'm talking about the day, forgive me, but that day that she was churning, Krishna broke that pot. And that was her special pot. Oh, I was telling you, she wanted to make the butter herself for Krishna. Because Krishna, she noticed, wasn't stealing her butter. He was stealing from everyone else's houses. And she was thinking, something is wrong with this. Maybe it's because my maidservants are making the butter and they're not doing it with the right mood. So I will make, maybe it's a little sour or over-incubated, the yogurt or something. Something's wrong. So she selected the best cows with the best flavored milk and made the yogurt herself from scratch, used the best pot, and with intention was endeavoring to make the best quality butter so that Krishna would want to steal it. So she was using that pot, and Krishna took this little pestle and popped a hole in the bottom of that pot. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that he was highly skillful, was very intelligent. By the tiny footprints of yogurt on the floor, the sweet smell of butter coming from the room nearby, and various other clues, Mother Yashoda easily guessed. My beloved son has entered that very room. Peering inside, she saw Krishna standing on the grinding mortar, stealing fresh butter. She took a small stick in her hand to punish her clever child and tiptoed into the room like a cat. I always remember Srila Gurudev, when he was telling this, how he would be. Oh, she was walking like a cat. On dry leaves, they can walk and make no sound. And he would be making this motion. She was walking so quietly, so carefully like a cat. But as soon as she entered, the crows and monkeys fled. See, Krishna had his back to her. The monkeys and the crows were coming in from the windows, and they could see that she was coming from behind. And of course, monkeys in Braj, we all know, are a little bit concerned about sticks. It is necessary to carry a stick. You saw Savita's stick yesterday. We also carry a stick because the monkeys are just so naughty and cheeky. It's their nature. They will create havoc, but when they see a stick, they're a little bit subdued. And if the stick doesn't work, then you need to reach down to the ground, even if you don't pick up anything, and pretend like you grab a stone and make that motion, and they will run. If you do not do that, there will be unbalance, an imbalance, and it can be quite dangerous. So the monkeys are just so naughty. I've seen them watch a fruit stand. For 5 minutes, he's just watching, just selecting the right moment. When the fruit wala was going that way to get some fruit, the monkey jumped down on that side and grabbed a whole stack of bananas. So he had been planning his whole trick for quite a long time, just looking for the right moment. They're quite smart. They're quite intelligent. So as soon as she entered the room, the crows and monkeys fled. Krishna immediately understood. Mother has come. He leapt from the grinding mortar and fled outside toward the royal lane. The royal lane. Mother Yashoda also ran onto the road pursuing her son. In those days, the gem of a lady was considered her shyness and her chastity. This was her value. These days, it's almost completely the opposite. But in those days, it was like that. So you wouldn't normally see a lady running out into the street, on the main street. You wouldn't see it. And even laughing out loud in public or anything like that. So many different cultural experiences are there. And from our perspective, we might look at that and think that's taboo. But if we placed ourselves in their position and saw from their perspective and looked at what is going on now in the world, according to Śrīmad Bhagavatam, it is all the symptoms of Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So Mother Yashoda, for her to run out into the street, into the royal lane, following little Krishna, this was considered a big deal. Krishna did not expect it at all. He was quite surprised when he saw that she was following him, because he knew she'll never follow me out into the street. Never. Absolutely not. But she did, because she knew that everyone was observing festivities and making plans and cleaning and decorating and everything else. It was Diwali day after all. So no one was out in the street. No one was there. Krishna didn't know that. So he ran out into the street and saw she's still running after me. And she's got a stick in her hand. His eyes lit up like this. And then he thought, oh my God, she's going to catch me. And he began running in a zigzag pattern to try to get away. And she was chasing him. Her hair was becoming loose. The flowers were falling from her hair. And still she was chasing after him. This actually frightened him quite some bit. He was thinking, why is she still chasing me? So she also ran onto the road pursuing her son. The silk cloth on Mother Yashoda's somewhat full, bluish limbs fluttered as she swiftly ran. And the beautiful fragrant flowers that were woven into her braid began to fall, as if to say, Mother, you are not alone. We are also with you. Catch him quickly. Mother Yashoda's pace exceeded Krishna's, and thus she caught him from behind. So here, we just received a description of Mother Yashoda, that she is somewhat full. Means a bit voluptuous. And her limbs are bluish complexion. Now sometimes we see pictures of Mother Yashoda as golden, and sometimes we see her as bluish. According to the descriptions given in Shastra, most of them, her complexion is bluish, like Krishna's. So always in deep absorption of Krishna, her complexion is also like that. So it seems kind of maybe a little opposite to the descriptions of the moods of colors. But sometimes in deep absorption, even in Mansarovar, Srimati Radhika is crying an entire lake of tears of man. And there, being so deeply absorbed in Krishna, Radhika's complexion becomes blackish like Krishna's. And at the same time, Krishna is next door, where, I wouldn't say next door, but he was at Imlitala. For us, it's next door, but at that time, it was all deep jungle. Underneath that tamarind tree, Krishna was there in such deep absorption and remembrance of Srimati Radhika that his blackish complexion changed and he became golden, like Gauranga. That is all told about in Vinod Bihari Tattvashtakam. Recommended reading. This is the manifestation from the heart's darshan of our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. If we are to obtain Sri Krishna, then we must love him more than he loves us. Only then can he be controlled. We will also have to love him with great intimacy, Vishramba Bhav, and with the same simple natural attachment as the residents of Braj. Lokik Sadbandhu Bhakt. Sadbandhu Bhakt means with family-like affection. Natural attachment as the residents of Braj, especially the Gopas and their wives. Sri Krishna may be pleased by love that is mixed with the moods of awe and reverence, but he cannot be controlled by it. Or he might be pleased when you're offering him prayers and everything, and understanding that you are God, you are Bhagavan, Om Jai Jagadish Hari, you are the Supreme Lord of everything, I'm offering pranam unto you. He will accept that and be pleased by it, but this won't control him. What controls him? The love and affection of the Brajavasis. Just see, with the mood of a simple mother, Sri Yashoda naturally regards Krishna as her son and chastises him. Because she's his mother, she's not seeing him as Bhagavan. She sees, this is my son, and I must discipline him. So this is natural attachment, like a worldly relationship. I'm just about finished here. Sri Krishna is offered worship everywhere else, but when he is in Braj, he is the servant of the inhabitants of Braj. Oh, and the inhabitants of Braj are his masters. This is the speciality of Vrindavan, that Krishna himself puts down his guard because he trusts completely that everyone in transcendental Braj, they only have complete pure love and affection for him, so he can be completely carefree and let that love and affection completely control and manipulate him. And why am I using this word manipulate? Srila Prabhupada writes that it appears that in Vrindavan, Krishna is simply a plaything in the hands of the gopis. That's the speciality of Vrindavan. Everywhere else, in all the other forms of Bhagavan, he is acting in a mood of being the controller. In Vrindavan, he's not acting in the mood of being the controller. He's letting love control him. So this is the speciality of Braj. He is the servant, and the inhabitants of Braj are his masters. On the command of the gopis, he begins to dance. They just say, I'll give you rock candy, mishri, and laddu, butter, if you dance and sing. And Krishna just starts dancing and singing just like that for their laddus, for their butter, for their mishri. He's controlled by their love and affection. He puts Nanda Baba's slippers on his head and delivers them to him. Under Yogamaya's influence, he forgets his supremacy. This is called mugdata. One is sarvagya, all-knowing, and the other is mugdata, forgetful. Krishna in Vrindavan, by the potency of Yogamaya, becomes forgetful of his godness and becomes a baby of Mother Yashoda and runs in fear of her. Although fear itself is afraid of him. Death itself is afraid of him, but he's afraid of Mother Yashoda and that little stick. He becomes completely captured by their love and affection. So he forgets his supremacy and enacts his pastimes as an ordinary human being. This is called Madhurya Lila, Sri Krishna's honey-like pastimes. Honey-like. Madhurya means sweet, but madhu also means honey. So very, very honey. Very sweet, like honey. Although Krishna's pastimes in Braj are full of opulence, that opulence does not even slightly stifle the love that the inhabitants of Braja have for him. Instead, it invigorates their honey-like love, causing it to condense even more. This is the speciality of the love in Braja. The practicing devotee, the sadhaka, should also desire to perform activities that will melt Sri Krishna's heart. How can we do that? Only under the guidance of someone who knows how to do that. By their training, by their association, our heart will become like theirs. O Gurudev, make my heart like yours. Koramore Atmasat. And then our heart will become like theirs by their association in such a way that we will also be able to melt Krishna's heart by our love and affection. Krishna will not be able to resist him for very long. He will accept that devotee with his whole heart and immerse him in his own sublime service. Thus ends the Digdarshini Vritti on the first verse. So, next time we speak on Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, it will be verse 2. What a beautiful, sweet, deep, amazing description by our Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Śrī Radha Damodar Ju ki jai, Śrī Yashoda Damodar Ju ki jai, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai, Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupāna Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Śrī Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Śrīla Gurudev would practically be salivating with his eyes wide open like this and dancing as he was speaking Damodarasṭakam. You remember? Every year.
He was so excited.
And the devotees were like, my God, it's new for him every single time.
And he would be laughing so much.
And then when the time came for weeping, he would be weeping so much. But he was definitely in it. Tasting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare So Jiva Pavana Prabhu just reminded me.
Tomorrow, 2 hours earlier.
Yes, 3 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon, Vrindavan time, we will be beginning our Govardhan Parikrama. So we invite you all to come along with us. We might actually drop you into any lake or drag you through the dust with us. So
That's our hope.
Yes.
To drop you in all these beautiful places.
So 3 o'clock tomorrow,
Okay.
Vrindavan time. Thank you very much for being with us this evening and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and to just dive deep into these beautiful nectarian pastimes of baby Krishna. And also, I just wanted to express our deepest gratitude and complete indebtedness to all of you for daily giving us the opportunity to endeavor to serve our Srila Gurudev as he ordered. It is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow, 2 hours earlier than usual. So 3 p.m. starting at Govardhan. And Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear
Hare
Vaishnavas.
Krishna, Radhe Radhe,
Radhe.
Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
jai, Shachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Let's just Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.